already know, man, it's Deion Dawkins, and you listening to the Real Deal Sports Show on the Beat 105.5.
Yeah, welcome to the Real Deal Sports Show, coming live and through your speakers every Saturday morning here on the Beat 105.5. The Radman is back with the crew. The whole crew is back. This week going to be an interesting show today. We broadcast live from the Rock Palm Broker Studios as we do each and every Saturday morning. We get it in here on Real Deal Sports Show. And I want to get off real quick off my chest the Radman Rants. And with Radman Rants, this week, Coco Gauff. We just saw Coco Gauff get blown out by some young lady that plays at Genesee Valley Park on the weekends. And maybe gets out there and gets a few matches in during the week at Genesee Valley Park. How could a lady of this stature get blown out in the first round of Wimbledon after she just won the French Open? And then last year she did win the U.S. Open. So Coco Gauff is young. She's young. I blame it to her immaturity because what I saw at Wimbledon, I didn't like it, what I saw last week. And what I saw was Coco Gauff and her arch enemy, Sabalenka. And let me take you back to the French Open. After Coco Gauff upset Sabalenka at the French Open, Sabalenka said, I lost because I didn't play well. It was all about me. It wasn't about what Coco Gauff did on the course. She blatantly just was insulting to Coco Gauff, saying it was about me not playing. If I played my best, Coco Gauff would have lost. But the media, everybody, she got so much backlash on that. Sabalenka came out and apologized later, saying she apologized for her words. It was just after a tough match. They spoke to her right after the match, and she was just feeling some kind of way of losing. You know, when you lose, you do. You don't want to talk. I can understand that. I can understand Sabalenka. I accept her apology as well as Coco Gauff did. I can understand you're in the heat of the moment. After the match, you say some things that maybe you shouldn't have said. And Sabalenka definitely shouldn't have said that because the French media and the media around the world gave her backlash for insulting, not giving Coco Gauff credit for upsetting her and winning the French Open. Now, let's move forward to last week at Wimbledon. We see this video come out of Coco Gauff and Sabalenka like a TikTok video. They're on center court. They're on the court there at Wimbledon on the grass court. And they dancing. They dancing together. And I looked at it and said, what the hell is this? What? I'm looking at it. And then Sabalenka in the video asks Coco Gauff, do you forgive me for, are we still friends? And Coco Gauff grinning and laughing. Yeah, we're still friends. We're friends. Don't sweat it. We're friends. Coco, you're on the tennis court. Why are you on the grass court at Wimbledon with your arch enemy talking about you forgive her? You already said it after she apologized. You accepted her apology and leave it at that and take it on. You should be mad. You should never be seen on the court with her dancing and skinning and grinning the way you were in that TikTok video. It was so disgusting. What's going on with you? Maybe she's young, immature. The young lady should be her arch enemy. That should be her arch enemy on the tennis court. I mean, they can be friends off the court, obviously. I'm not saying for her to not like Sabalenka off the court. But when you cross those lines and get on the tennis court, it should be all business. That's what separated Serena Williams from all the other tennis players, including her sister, Venus Williams. She hated to lose. She took numbers. She wrote names down. She checked them off. And if anytime they said anything that remotely seemed derogatory toward her play, her game, her family, whatever the case was, she took it out on them on the tennis court. She took it out on Maria Sharapova for talking junk about her off the court. That got into a real feud. Serena Williams beat her down. But the difference between winning and losing, you can't be friends with your arch enemy, not on the tennis court. Serena Williams was great friends with Caroline Wozniak, another good tennis player. But every time they got on the court, Serena Williams whooped that butt. Serena Williams put it on her. She beat Wozniak. It wasn't even close. She always beat Caroline Wozniak, but that was her girlfriend off the court. They hung out together and stuff like that. It's cool to hang out with other tennis players. But my point is, Coco, You cannot be fraternizing with the enemy, and Sabalenka is the enemy after she talked and disrespected you at the French Open. You don't come back and make a TikTok video and then everything's peaches and cream and the whole 9 yards. You do not do that, Coco. I hope you just a learning lesson. I hope it's just a maturity. I think it's just immaturity. She's a young girl. She's very young. This was her second major, but you don't come out with TikToking on the actual tennis court of Wimbledon, the grass court where you get ready to play, and then the very next day you get whooped by some girl from Genesee Valley Park. Come on, you don't lose like that. You're not a scrub. You don't get beat by people coming from Genesee Valley Park or any other park across the nation. You don't lose like that in the first round. Not the way she did. So keep that in mind. J-GILLZ, good morning. Welcome to Real Deal Sports Show. How you doing, J-GILLZ?
Hey, good morning, man. You going in on Coco this morning. You're going in on
it was
Coco
disgusting, man. Did you see the video? Did you see the video?
I didn't watch the TikTok, but you did a great job in explaining exactly what's going on. But Radman, you have to understand the day and age. This is called modern day sports, where there is no rivalries in basketball. Where football players, they do exchange jerseys at the end of the game, and where Coco Gauff is going to TikTok with her rival right before her Wimbledon battle. It is what it is, man. It's not the same. It's modern day sports. We talk about it all the time in the NBA. We talk about it. What started with LeBron James, called the LeBron James era, where everybody's just friends in the league. Nobody is trying to really go for it all. Nobody even wants to be the face of the NBA right now. Nobody wants that on their back. Everybody wants a happy-go-lucky society. So Coco Gauff, it is what it is. Unfortunately, she's a part of that modern day sports. We don't see anybody going all the way in right now as an athlete, just in the zone, the Mamba mentality. We just don't see it. And that's across all the sports. We're just not seeing it. So Coco Gauff is a product of her environment, and she is what we call the modern day athlete.
Yes, indeed. I thank you for that title, modern day athlete. They got to change that, because especially when you playing by a sport that's basically by yourself. You never saw Serena Williams do that. She never got on the court and danced and grinned and forgive somebody all on you, grinning and skinning. It was so disgusting when I saw the video, and then turn around and she lose the very next day. I said, see there? She wasn't mentally prepared and mentally ready to go in the first round, because she lost to somebody from Genesee Valley Park, J-GILLZ.
I believe it. You got to be ready to go. You can't be out. You can't be doing all that and then lose. Now that's just embarrassing. Yeah, they're taking TikToks and then you're gonna lose. Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah, but Sabalenka didn't lose. She blew her. She already, she did straight set win, 6-1, 6-1. She's into the next round, and she'll probably be in the finals eventually, because she's mature, she's older, and she knows how to win. She hates to lose. That's what some of her comments, and I think I chalk some of that hate to lose up to some of the derogatory comments she made toward Coco Gauff after the French Open finals a month or so ago. So keep an eye on that and make sure everybody checks it out and see what's what with that, because I think that was really interesting to see how that whole thing went down. And we're gonna move on to our first guest of the show today, our regular guest that comes back on a monthly basis, Coach Moody. Coach Moody, welcome back to Real Deal Sports Show. How you doing on this beautiful, glorious Saturday morning?
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning. How's everybody doing in our beautiful city of Rochester and Monroe County today?
Doing well. And can you please update us on what's going on in the Section 5 football sports world?
All right. First of all, coming up next week, Friday, we're going to host a 7-on-7 girls flag tournament down in Cortland, New York at Cortland University. That's part of my associate. I'm part of the New York State High School Football Coaches Association. As a board member, I represent the Section 5 of all the greater Section 5 schools, so 76 of them, and another 54 plus probably girls programs and stuff in flag ball. So we're doing that on that Friday. And then on the next following day, on the Saturday, the 12th, at the same location at Cortland University, we're going to host 68 boys team across our entire state of New York that's already selected to be there. and on track for an awesome day. We're going to be sponsored by the U.S. Army. Also, the New York Jets and also the New York Giants are sponsoring and backing this program with their management teams and ownerships. And we're looking forward to an awesome weekend next weekend. Pray all is well. We're getting kids out of Long Island, New York City area, all the way to Western New York, past Buffalo. So it's going to be an interesting thing. We have at least 10 to 12 boys teams that are coming from Section 5 that would be slated to be there.
Oh wow, that sounds like it's going to be a big event. Is there any way other people can get invited to this, or is it an invite only type situation?
No, it isn't. We usually host it on our website. So if you go to NYS, our New York State High School Football Coaches Association, actual.org, you can get a lot of the information from that. And everybody's all invited. It's all free to each program. So nobody has to pay any fees. The only fees you got to get is to get your teams there by transportation or lodging overnight. That's the only fees that's coming out of the schools or the school districts. So everything is free because it's being taken care of by the NFL and also the U.S. Army.
Wow, you can't beat that. Wow, that sounds really good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we're kicking that off. And then the following weeks, we're going to be having a golf tournament on the 24th that represents East High alum for their Hall of Fames and stuff like that. They're going to do it at Eagle Val, and the first shotgun pops off at 9 a.m. So Anthony Tony Jordan's got that information. I don't have all of it, but following your show, I can get you that contact for Anthony and them. But I know Eric Robinson is the athletic director. He also has some information. That's the AD at East High School. So they're doing a huge thing in the community for that. So all you golfers and everybody that's into golfing, come on and jump out there on the 24th. And the day before, actually, we'll be at the Buffalo Bills training camp because that's my first day back with them.
Okay.
I do that part-time at the next, say, 4 weeks of that from the end of July to early August. And the whole McDermott and his band will be back here with Josh Allen. So that'll be at St. John Fisher. They got various dates that are open for open camp dates, and a few of them are closed. But the Buffalo boys will be back and off their vacation time and ready to rock and roll and see if they can run at that playoff picture again.
Yes, indeed. Hopefully, McDermott might consider you for a coach, a consultant or something on this team for late game decisions. Since he had serious trouble with his coaching at the end of at winner take all football games, seems to be McDermott's downfall. So hopefully you might have a word with him. I might even put a word when I get in the interview tent there with the coach. I may even bring your name up. Hey, you might consider Coach Eddie Moody as a consultant.
Well, he knows of me actually, because I had an opportunity to give his father and a couple of his father's friends a tour of our campus over there when they first he got hired, and I had a good walk and conversation with his dad. And one thing about him, he always comes up to me and has a conversation that, hey, by the way, Dad told me to tell you hello, or Dad's coming into camp today. He wants to see you. So that's my relationship professionally with him. But as far as coaching advice, I don't know. That boy might be able to not be able to take any advice from Coach Moody, but I'm going to tell you this. I told him about his special teams, and I see he made a change at special teams because I'm a special teams coordinator too by trade, and he did make a change at special teams. So at least he took some advice. Let's say that.
There we go. Well, hey, we listening. See there? It wasn't too off. It wasn't too far off on that one, Coach Moody. No doubt about it.
Well, yeah, I try to make it simple for them, man. I know, there's a lot of reasons to their situations they've been put in, but I think as long as that kid is at the Kansas City team, they're going to keep chopping it. They would too, man. The thing about, I believe a lot of the Buffalo fans and their mafia, as you call it, they're chasing things since the 90s, to be honest, because I was around Buffalo when they went to all them Super Bowls and stuff. And I had that experience because my wife at the time, she was a huge Buffalo Bills fan. So, bro, we was flying all over the country chasing that team then when Kelly was at the helm and his backup and stuff, and their defensive guys, Bruce Smith and all of them, and Talley. I think it's honestly, I don't know if it's a curse or somebody washed them in the baptism water the wrong way. I think Buffalo's still chasing for that Super Bowl. I hate to say it, and I think the thing is the AFC product. I think gets better and better every year, and I think Buffalo's trying to still get there. So they'll be in the hunt. But everybody says, well, we want a Super Bowl. It's going to be hard. I'm going to be honest, because I tell everybody that honestly, this is where they are. And this is the type of team. You know what kind of machine you're building, and you know what you're trying to be. And honestly, they're chasing Mahomes and those guys. And that's a different product when you're working with Andy Reid. He's a guru for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely.
Believe me, Coach McDermott knows that, and they may beat them in the season, absolutely, because they catch them sleeping. But when it comes down to if you're a real champion, it's time to win football games when the playoffs start. And I say that on all levels, from high school up through college. If you're ready to be a champion, it's time to play during them playoffs.
Amen. Amen, Coach William. Before you go, how can people get in contact if they're interested in that 7-on-7 football camp next week in Cortland?
Well, they can get a hold of me at 585-305-7957, or they can go right to my Yahoo current personal email at coachmoody2003@yahoo.com. They can reach out to me and ask if they can be a part of what we got going on. We need vendors, media people. You're all invited. We got food vendors already set on that date at the University of Cortland. So, I mean, it's going to be absolutely all football going forward. And I'm looking forward to it. We're going to be doing a lot of program work here in the Rochester area with our football team. So a lot of them going to be doing football versus other programs. I know we're at East Ridge. We're going to be slated to go get Spencer Port coming up soon. We got U-Preps, Penfields. All those programs really are, everybody's working. It's called summer training camp, just like the Buffalo Bills do summer training camp. The high schools. I remember they talked about a camp that just recently happened. Just got youth line with CTC at Monroe High School this past week. So they did a good job with young players from all over the spectrum there. So they had a free football camp there. So that was awesome. That just got completed this past week.
Yeah, that's Greg Hopkins in the CTC program. Excellent. I was very happy to see he's doing so much in the community, Coach Moody. And we look forward to having you back in a few weeks. We're gonna be as we're getting closer to Bills camp, and also Section 5 football kicking off for this coming season. We're gonna talk more about the upcoming season, some of the rule changes and things to look out for this upcoming 2025 football season. Thank you so much for coming on Real Deal Sports Show.
Well, I love you guys at Real Deal. I love what y'all are doing, exposing the sports from this spectrum, because we need more of it. We need to get you networked even more, because in Section 5 at my board meetings, I put your name out there, and I'm going to get you guys attached to us in some kind of way, because we need to make sure that your name is getting out there, because you are the voice of what we need of reason. I thank all you gentlemen for all what you're doing every weekend. That's awesome.
Thank you so much, Coach Moody. And you have a great weekend, and we're gonna see you in a couple of weeks back on the show.
All right, my brothers. Peace always. Stay in love. Thank y'all.
Absolutely. And please subscribe, like, stream, and leave a comment.
Yes, absolutely, man. Stay peaceful and stay safe out there. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you so much. That was Coach Moody, Coach Eddie Moody, Section 5 board member, also football coach. And also he's way more than a football coach. He's a mentor, the whole 9 yards. Beautiful people. If you haven't been to Rochester and don't know, and you're into sports and don't know Coach Eddie Moody, you really haven't been to Rochester, New York. Check it out, the sports era in this marketplace, for real. Please subscribe, like the stream, and have a comment. Comments will be read on the show as well. So keep in mind, stay in there. We got the Fanatic. Speaker, he mentioned Hall of Fame. But hey, it's kind of great trans into the next segment of the show. Let's talk about Hall of Fame, Fanatic.
You're right. What's going on, Rochester? What's up, my brother J-GILLZ, Radman, 105.5 The Beat. It's the Fanatic reporting live from Baton Rouge. But as the Radman said, hey, we are honored, and it's like Coach Moody, he know the champion. It's like he knew our show today, because we got a former Section 5 champion at Webster High School, R.D. Long, joining the show. He was drafted by the Cleveland Indians back in the great year of 1989. But instead, Attended University of Arizona, transferred to Houston. RD re-entered the Major League draft in 92 and was drafted by the New York Yankees as a part of the same draft class as, of course, the captain, Derek Jeter. In 6 seasons at the minor league level, RD played in 433 games, primarily in the infield with that sweet hands and great throwing ability and fast feet, stealing 98 total bases. He still holds the Florida State single game record for stolen bases, along with former Major Leaguer Vince Coleman with 5 in that game. RD is a winner, and we're going to talk about winners here today. He won a professional baseball championships as well in 94 with the Tampa Yankees, with the Florida State League champions, and the 96 Columbus Clippers in the IL International League. They were champions that year as well. RD transitioned his mastery of the takeaway swing and hitting overall by becoming the assistant coach for RIT baseball squad, where he served as the team's hitting instructor for 4 years. And to me, most importantly, what we really want to talk about is RD is the founder. He's way ahead of the curve, as we'll talk about right here. He's the founder of Mind, Body, and Soul, an athletic-based college preparatory program for student athletes, or as we affectionately call it, MBS. Yes, I was an MBS kid as well, and it transformed and shaped my life. And those same opportunities and mentorship moments and values still sticks with me today. So MBS has been around for almost 23 years with its inception in December 2002. So way ahead of the game with these prep programs. So, hey, with that welcome right there, we got to welcome to the show back-to-back weeks, the first ever Black Rochester Baseball Hall of Famer and Section 5 history, Mr. Robert Douglas Long, affectionately known as RD. What up, Prophet? What's happening?
Good morning, good morning, good morning. That's quite an intro.
Hey, well deserved for a champion and a Hall of Famer, man. We got to do it right at the Real Sports Show.
I appreciate that. I really do.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, RD, I know we got a bunch of stuff in sports going on, but to me, I would be remiss, as I have an impactful father who's really been impactful in my life. I wanted to give some flowers to your pops, man. Can you talk to us about your dad, Bob Long, a former University of Maryland pitching coach and a Marine? Talk about his influence on you, how he raised you, and how his impact is still lasting with you today.
Dad was a Marine. That's one of the main things I take away after meeting a lot of these other Marines and whatnot. These guys are really got the same kind of deal going on. And we don't really have men built the same anymore. These Marines, a lot of these guys are in their 70s and 80s now, but these are some of the toughest guys I've ever seen in my life. Wild guys too. My dad was just a tough guy and a very gregarious guy. Knew a lot of people, talked a lot, but was really focused on whatever he had set his mind to. He really got all in on what he was trying to do. So for baseball, he was running around. He was just doing all kinds of stuff. He wasn't really that focused on what I had going on athletically. It was really around 12 years old, I think, maybe 12 to 13 or something like that. I think he seen me throwing and was like, oh, whoa, we might have something. And then, my bat speed started coming along and just a few things. And once he identified that I had some talents in the game, he went bananas at that point. So, MBS. So I probably told you guys this story about how I even came up with Mind, Body, and Soul, like the concept. And one of the concepts comes from my dad. Once he realized I had a chance, he kind of slave master. He was slave driving me. So in the summertime at 12 o'clock every day, he knocking on my door. Hey, man, we're going to the fields. So he would take me out to Penfield Little League fields and hit me ground balls. And it was just me. So all my friends would be coming to go play, ride bikes, go do this or go do that. And I could never go because Dad is taking me to this field and we're going to go for like 3 hours. And so I felt bad because my friends was going and doing all this other stuff, but I was having to go field ground balls for 3 hours.
Yeah.
So at some point, I started being like, hey, man, come on, guys, come with me, man. Y'all just come with me, man. And I finally started getting some of my buddies to come do these workouts with me. And then they became fun to me. Only when I started getting some other people involved that were my friends, then they started getting better. But we did this on a repeated basis. Then he was a pitching coach for the Red Wings. So not a pitching coach, but he would do the gun and do the charts because Dad was a pitcher. You know, he's a professional pitcher. So some kind of way he hooked up with the Red Wings, and he would do the charting of the pitches. You know, he would sit back there and he was working for them. Somehow, some way, he finagled it to where they let me start working out with the Red Wing players. When I'm like 14, 15, they got me a little uniform. I would go out on the field for pregame, and I was working with Bobby Bonner, Rex Hudler, Billy Ripken, a dude named Juan Bell, which is George Bell's little brother, which a lot of people don't know who this guy is. He was a shortstop, and actually Juan Bell taught me a lot. And hitting guys, and the coaches would throw me BP, and for some reason, all the way back then, they kind of were grooming me to be a pro, all the way back at 14, 15, and the other pros saw it, they knew it, and they worked with me accordingly. And this is all stuff that a black man way back in this time was able to position his son, which is unbelievable to me.
Unheard of. It's unheard of. It's tough to do that today. To do that,
right? How do you pull that off?
I had the pleasure of knowing your pops. He could talk his way into anything. So when I hear that story, that sounds right. Right up his alley. Yep. So, RD, talk about who's some of the I would say the best. Who's probably the best player you saw coming up in the minors?
All right. So I was thinking about this question, and I have a couple answers. Okay. So the most talented player I had ever seen coming through the minor leagues is a kid named Ruben Rivera. That is Mariano Rivera's younger cousin. He was basically a 6'3" right-handed Darryl Strawberry, but was more of like a Ken Griffey athletically. He could run, he could hit, he could throw from center field. He could throw from the 400-foot wall with his back against the wall and throw it to home plate with
on
no
the line
arc on it.
Really?
I mean, this stuff was crazy what this kid could do. He could hit 10 opposite field home runs in a row. He was just doing the craziest stuff, but he was just his mental. He just didn't have the mental. Like him and Mariano were just night and day. So he made it to the big leagues, but he didn't really stick in the big leagues. Okay, but he was the most talented player I had seen. So this tells you talent can only get you so far.
Yes.
You got to have mentality to go with it. And that mentality can either bring you down or really lift you up. It all depends on what you do with it. The most polished player I had seen and the most exciting player I had seen at that time was a kid named Ray Ordonez.
For the Mets.
He ended up being the shortstop for the Mets. And I mean, this boy's stuff was so ridiculous. We used to come out and watch their pregame infield. Nobody does that.
Yeah.
We used to sit and watch these dudes take pregame infield because this boy put on a show in pregame, man. It was really something, bro. Just as a shortstop, I ain't talking about as a hitter or none of those things. But Ray Ordonez, watching him as a shortstop, because that was my position.
Yeah.
He was really something to watch. But the best player in watching it, and you would not be able to see it unless you were able to watch it every single day, is Derek Jeter.
Yeah.
Derek Jeter is the best player I came up with on either team. Another great player I had came up with that it was very impressive was Torrey Hunter.
The center fielder.
Yeah, Torrey Hunter.
Yeah.
Because he was young. So, you know, he was in G-Slide age. So, like, they're both 19s and they're playing against 22-year-olds. And these little dudes was getting to the money, boy. Yeah, they could hit, he could run. But Jeter overall, as far as his improvement, he had a year in the Florida State League. He was 28 for 28 stealing bases.
That's crazy.
That's really impressive. 28 for 28, bro. And he wasn't quicker than me. You know, he just really could, you know, he had a great eye for this kind of, you know, when to go and so on and so forth.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Those guys are probably the most talented and best players I played against. Yeah,
man. Those are some names, man. Some household names too.
Yeah.
So Torrey Hunter, man, a Gold Glover, man. He used to make some ridiculous catches.
Yep.
And then Ray Ordonez, it's funny. Me and the Big O, we used to be arguing who was better, Jeter or Ray Ordonez.
Yep.
Back in the day, O was a Mets fan. So I still make him apologize to this day that Jeter was way better than Ray Ordonez.
Right.
At that point in time, we was arguing back and forth. So I love that. Talk to us, RD, or as I like to call you, the Prophet, especially because I call you the Prophet just so everybody knows, because you would be an MBS giving us the game on life. And yes, it was about the lifting, but you had us there for homework, making sure we had meals. And we talk about food insecurity now. We know there was food insecurity back then, but you had us down there eating all together. You brought people from all over the city of Rochester. I still think about my man Cody Benarzik. I never would have met that kid from Penfield unless it was MBS. And we realized there is so much more that brings us together. And then you would give us the game about life and about sports. And a lot of the things that you said came true. So that's why we call you the Prophet for folks who don't know. And so just overall, when you think about you and your life, what does it mean to be the first Black person in Section 5 Hall of Fame history for baseball? What does that mean to you as you carry on the legacy of your father and you have your 3 boys and all the young men that you have helped mentor through MBS and outside of MBS? What does that mean to you when you hear that distinction last weekend?
I think for more than anything else, I think it's validation for my dad. More than anything else, that's all I really think about. It's validation for my dad. I used to see my dad literally have arguments with these guys. And mind you, if I'm the first Black, then that's telling you everybody he arguing with ain't Black.
Right. Oh, that's a good point. I like
I've
that.
seen my dad stand with a circle of men around him and point at each one and tell them why their kid ain't this and that while they're trying to tell me or tell him what I'm not. So he had to fight to keep positioning me in these places where, you know, coaches didn't want me playing shortstop. They wanted their son playing shortstop. So we had a lot of these different things going on where he was really having to fight and fight and fight and fight. And so I used to always think to myself, man, shoot, I don't know any Black players. At the time, I didn't know any players, period, Black or white, in the last 50 years that had achieved what I had achieved. So not only did I think I was the best baseball player that came out of Rochester in the last 50 years, I definitely thought I was the best Black player. You get what I'm saying? But I didn't have anything that verified that. All this does is verify what I already kind of thought, but I was not totally sure.
Love
that.
Yeah,
because this was disgraceful. When I went to talk to the Section 5 guy briefly at your ceremony, but obviously it wasn't the right place to get deeply into it. But I said, man, I'm shocked that this is the first time that not only yourself, R.D. Long, but Eddie Lee. And Eddie Lee played in the 70s, 78, into the 80s and stuff. It's like, come on, man. Y'all couldn't put Eddie Lee in 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago? Come on. That's when you look at his statistic for Eddie Lee, just unbelievable. He still holds the stolen base record at MCC. He batted 500 in high school at Franklin, Madison High School. I mean, Eddie Lee was an all-around great athlete. Was drafted, ended up with the Boston Red Sox for a little bit of time as well, and he couldn't make it where some of these other guys didn't even make the professional ranks and are in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Come on.
Come
Right.
on, and I'll add to it. And Rochester's not the only one. I went down a whole big rabbit hole. I'm looking at section the Buffalo, Syracuse.
Yep.
It is, and we talk about again. I live in Louisiana, deep South, New York. Y'all need to be shamed. Hey, when I look at these Section 5, Buffalo, looking at Syracuse, Albany, and the lack of black baseball players, it is shameful. It's wild to me. And this is a hat tip, but it put things in perspective. I looked at when I was playing Brian Dupras. He was nice. He went to Notre Dame. He was from McQuaid, from Rochester, went to McQuaid, and then went to Notre Dame, and then played in the minors. But he was a part of the class of 2012. I'm sorry, it was a part of the class of 2022 for the Rochester Baseball Hall of Fame. And for me, he played with me. So that's like the 2000, or he played a little after me, like 2011. But I saw him coming up when we were playing Legion ball and things of that nature. So to see that he was inducted 3 years before URD, I'm like, and I played. That's somebody who. That's the name, only name I saw in there who I played against, and he was nice. But I know he wasn't nicer than you, and especially for what you meant for this community. So, so yeah, Section 5. Hey, Radman, I know. Hey, you know how to rant. You know how you got those connections. We're gonna keep an eye on this to make sure that the Rochester, and we're gonna expand to Buffalo and Syracuse. It's going to be really inclusive, and we need more inclusivity and different viewpoints to showcase the talented players who should be in these Hall of Fames that aren't currently. We're gonna stay on them, right, Radman?
Oh, no doubt about it. I mean, this is insane. I didn't realize it until I got there that it was the first, that when they said the first block, I said, wait a minute, first? Oh, wait a minute, something wrong with that sentence. Something seriously wrong with that sentence. The first 2025, and they're the first to come. And I know besides Eddie Lee, there's got to be some other ball players here in Rochester that's worthy of the Section 5 Hall of Fame that we don't know about. But people here in Rochester, hey, let us know. Email us, radneygeorge@gmail.com. If you baseball players that, or even football, other sports, high school sports that were great athletes that are not in the Section 5, and each of them are done separately. So it's baseball, football, basketball. They're all separate Hall of Fame. So it's not just one big Hall of Fame here in Rochester. So maybe that's why they've gotten away with this for so long, because they're all separate. They got bowling. They got a bowling Hall of Fame as well. So there's many groups. If you know somebody, maybe it's a family member, let us know at radneygeorge@gmail.com. Feel free to email me, and I'll be glad we can look into it about getting your loved one or friend or family or classmate in the Section 5, especially Baseball Hall of Fame, because that's way too long. That this injustice has taken place.
There's some politics behind all of that, though, too, you know.
Of course.
And so so the guy who's running it now is a guy named Billy Bowe. I think Billy's out of McQuaid. And when he called me to tell me, okay, we've inducted you, that was like 6 months ago. And when he called, he said, you know, I'm proud to say this, but I'm embarrassed at the same time because you should have been in here a long time ago. Mm-hmm. And he's new. They had to revamp the committee. So whatever they knew was happening, they had to remove some of the people that were on the original committee to bring new people on, because the methods and the way they were doing things, they were actually blocking people out and bringing their buddies in.
Yeah.
You got what I'm saying? So you got more coaches in that Hall of Fame than players.
Oh,
come on. What I'm telling you, you got more coaches than players.
Yeah. That's sad.
You got me? And a lot of them is right out of Greece. So I'm just saying.
Greece went. Oh, okay. Now we're getting closer to seeing what went down. It went down out in Greece. Okay.
Yeah, that's what it went down with them Greece fellas, right? I'm trying to tell you. So that's kind of where that was. And they told me they revamped some things. Now, the other thing, I'm down here in Carolina now, and my buddy who just is, I mean, it's amazing how many people just won't let this just go away. Like they just I'm like shy about this stuff. I don't know why, but I'm actually really shy about this stuff. And I got people that just will not let me get away from it. They just saying stuff, they telling everybody. And I got a guy who's out of a place called Lenore, Carolina here. So it's like kind of in the mountains. He told me that they had to create their own Black Hall of Fame because they wasn't putting Black players in the Hall of Fame. They created their own Black Hall of Fame in his hometown.
Sound about right.
You know what I'm saying? So he just told me this yesterday. I said, dang.
Yeah.
So it's not uncommon.
No, it's not. That's how HBCUs got started. They want us in their schools. So, hey, we had to start our own.
Yep. Go ahead. I like that.
Yeah, I see a lot of good comments on the line there. Big O says Cito Culver should be the Gates Shalai brothers. I do remember those two guys from the Legion team out there. They wore 24 and 42 for Gates Shalai. They should be.
Them boys is bad. Them boys is tough.
They were.
Between Cito and them kids, what's them boys' names?
Anybody out there on the line, please feel free to let us know.
But Big O is exactly right. I can see both of them. 24-42. They were some bad boys.
Yeah, them some bad boys. One of them went to the big leagues though.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he could hit. This kid could hit, and I told y'all that boy was a big league hitter way back then.
Early. And it's a good profit story. I can remember that day. It was like the first inning, and he might have took a swing and a miss, and you was like, "Hey, hold up, Drew. Hey, back up." But you was like, "Back up." And I was like, "He ain't even hit it. Like he ain't even fouled the ball. What RDC?" And that was. And then sure enough. Man, that dude hit what I thought was gonna be a routine ground ball. That thing hit that ground so hard, and it did like a hip hop. I look at that. I have a chance.
Yeah, so that's another thing, guys. You see how that ball came off his bat. This is the ground balls you're fielding in pro baseball. Them jokers is sizzling, boy.
Man,
yes. And
kids? What are them boys' names, man? I love them kids, man.
Yeah, we'll get that. Of course, with the truth.
And RD, what is it now with these guys lifting heavy? I mean, I went by after your ceremonies. I went by the weight room there as you were walking back up to the stands there, and I saw the Syracuse Mets players who are the New York Mets farm team. Man, they were in there lifting heavy weight like it was their day off, man. And they had to play a game probably 15, 20 minutes later. I mean, what is it about lift? We never were told back in the day that the lift weights right before the start of the game. What's that all about?
Testosterone boost. So I realize that now. I even told my son about it's all about activating the muscles now. It's a whole different kind of deal going on right now. Then there's a lot of stuff. There's more medical advancements right now and understanding of what the players are doing, and the players are making sure that they are at peak performance. I'm sorry, but man, when you get up to this level, bro, if you ain't ready to perform, bro, you're gonna have a 4 strikeout day. You're gonna have a bad situation, bro. There's the pressure of that is being applied by the levels of the players. You have to be ready, or it's gonna get ugly. So guys are doing what they got to do to prepare. So that's like a testosterone boost. It's called a pump, And they just get their muscles and their blood vessels. They try to get them activated. Pre-game.
Oh, that's what. Wow. Okay. Yeah, because you wouldn't even thought they had a game the way they took away a couple of those catches in there. Man, they were lifting heavyweight. I said, man, this cat, man, breaking the sweat, all sweated up and everything. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Hey, now, RD, as the prophet, hey, you know all sports. You're not just a baseball player, but you did your thing in all sports. Talk to me, man. When we talk about, we had Tyson Chandler on a couple weeks ago, and when we talk about just the NBA, where are we today in particular? I know we'll come to the Knicks. I'll come back on them. But I want to go, you just talk about coaches, or you talk about players, but in that pressure. What's up? What you think is this trend with the NBA with coaches like Michael Malone and Taylor Jenkins, formerly of the Nuggets, formerly of the Grizzlies, who getting fired right before the playoffs when their teams are in contention? Do you think it's more pressurized now in NBA with coaches? Again, you see Tom Thibodeau, he getting fired. He took the Knicks losing to the Eastern Conference champions and Indiana Pacers. What do you think with NBA and coaches? Is this a blip on the radar? Is there more pressure? Is it more back in politics, more money in ownership? What do you think is going on with NBA coaches in particular?
They're dealing with NBA divas, period. You're dealing with divas. You're dealing with guys that know how to be a diva without nobody knowing it. So one thing I'm going to say is Denver's coach got fired. Who's the main man on Denver? It's Jokic. Jokic is all of a sudden putting up LeBron numbers. You got this man averaging a triple-double. That ain't going to win you nothing. Whatever you're doing, Joker, it ain't good for your team, bro. But he don't want to hear nothing about what he got to get off the ball or all of these other things, because these guys start getting addicted to their numbers and it becomes team detrimental. All of a sudden, what's the shooter's name that they just got rid of?
Michael Porter Jr.
Michael Porter Jr. can't make a shot. He ain't getting the ball enough. Yep. Aaron Gordon ain't the same. He ain't getting the ball enough. You got the ball too much. Giannis in Milwaukee, same thing. Y'all start to fall in love with your numbers and you're moving away from what got you there. That's what I'm looking at.
And Big O came up with that. Thank you, Big O, for coming up. Chris Bostic is the young man's name.
Chris Bostic, the Bostic boys. Right. There you go.
Yeah. Big O, the ultimate researcher.
There you go.
Yeah. Chris Bostic. Good one, Big O. We appreciate it.
Shout out to the Bostic boys. Y'all was really beasts like that.
Yeah, y'all was.
And more than that, Julian Radney, I told you that boy could go to the big leagues. I told you that way back then.
But the craziest part that I don't know, let me make sure I say it, clear my throat. You said it, you saw it after he swung and missed. Not that he hit a 500-foot home run. You saw it on the swing and miss. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. All right, I know we get ready to wrap up here, but hey, Prophet, what do you think about the Knicks? I know you in Carolina, a bunch of Knicks fans. What's your expectation with Mike Brown coming in to be the coach?
I think that's a good hire. Mike Brown is a better coach than he is kind of, portrayed to be. But again, I keep going back to LeBron done killed a lot of these coaches' scenarios to make them look like they're not great coaches. That really bugs me. Mike Brown is a really, really good coach.
He's 305 wins and 197 losses. I had to do a double take when I saw his record. How can a guy like that not be coaching continuously in the NBA? He's been fired so many times, and I'm shocked at his record, his career record. Unbelievable.
Yep, he's a black coach, number one. Number two, he's a black coach that got fired under LeBron James. Those things, that's always going to hurt you. You know what I'm saying? If you have, let's say he was Steph Curry's coach, he'd be going to the Hall of Fame. You understand? If he was Steph Curry's coach, he'd be going to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
you got me. So players create Hall of Fame players and Hall of Fame coaches. The greatest players do that.
Yeah. So do you think Knicks getting back to where they were? You think he's going to be able to get them over the top to get to the final, especially with the wide open East?
Yeah, I think there's never an easier time to win a championship than it is right this minute. I was thinking about that too. So right now, Boston's out of it. Tatum's hurt. They're not going to be able to really challenge. Milwaukee, Who else is a threat in the East right now? Cleveland. And Cleveland, I don't think Cleveland can return back to what they just did. I don't, because it was so disappointing. When you disappoint that bad, the pressure gets on you so ridiculous that I don't think so. I could definitely see the Knicks coming out the East, and I think a lot of it will be based on how Mike Brown manages that team throughout the season versus Thibodeau does play his players too much. You're always going to be wore out at the very end of the season. So I think Mike Brown's going to do a good job. I would not be surprised if they got to the finals.
Yeah, I love that. That'd be a good one. RD on this, just a quick one. Do you think that Donovan Mitchell, is he a 1A championship type player when you see him, Donovan Mitchell in the guard in Cleveland?
No.
Okay. All right.
I don't know why.
Yes.
Because the numbers are great. But there's something I just never, something was missing. I don't know what that is. Something was missing.
Yeah, they try and call him Dwayne Wade light, and I'm like, nah, D Wade was a winner.
D Wade was a different kind of finisher. I keep saying this. It's the end of the game. It's not what you do in the first 43 minutes. It's what you do in the last 5. I keep saying this to people over and over and over again. All of these games are 3 and 4 point games in the last 3 to 4 minutes. You know, I don't care if it was 20 point in the first quarter or 20-point margin in the second quarter. They all come down to 3-4 points in the last 5 minutes. It's how you finish those. So I'll ask you guys this. Question. What is the difference between SGA and KD?
I mean, to me, I would say, especially coming from the NBS background, he was a cultivator. He was a culture cultivator. Like, everybody around him is bought in. They all rolling in the same direction. KD, he like, I'm out here getting mine. If you get yours, that's cool. If you get yours, that's cool. I'm gonna get mine, and I hope we win. But SGA really brings that culture together in a short version. Radman, what would you say?
Hey, you guys are on point, man. We're running out of time. I just want to get a quick question to you. Why is it everybody that goes to the Yankees now gets like Devin Williams? He looks at shallow. That's not the same Devin Williams that was with the Milwaukee Brewers. This guy there, he looks scared, man. He actually looked physically scared the other night in Toronto. But what's up with everybody when they even let you wear a beard now, and these dudes still are not comfortable being a Yankee. Why are these guys not comfortable being a Yankee when they get traded to them?
Everybody don't like the high spotlight. Sometimes guys are really better under the radar. If you're in a Yankee uniform, Sports Center is waiting for you right there every day. Every minute, the Sports Center is right there. ESPN is right there. If you're in Milwaukee, you could do a whole bunch of stuff and they not recognize you. You could make a fool of yourself and they didn't. Nobody saw it.
Right. It gotta be that. Because these guys, they come there and they just, man, and then when they leave and go back to a smaller market, then they go back to being themselves and they seem to be right back to where they used to be.
Yep. That's why I say pressure and anxiety. You have a lot of great players, but who are the greatest players are greatest under the most pressure. James Harden has numbers that if you didn't know anybody, you'd think he was the greatest player ever played.
Right. And speaking of greatest players ever play, RD, BacSpin. BacSpin, jump on in here, BacSpin. This guy under pressure every Saturday morning.
Getting it done.
Yes, sir. How y'all fellas doing?
We're doing well.
RD, what up, brother?
How are you, man? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. All fair for a square. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Good. Well, hey, I know we got to relent. We got to go ahead and give it back to BacSpin and get the beats. And we know we got to pay the bills. But RD, man, we always appreciate you pulling up with us, getting up early. You got your morning coffee in, bringing
it. Y'all be having me out the bed, man.
We appreciate it. We appreciate it so very much, man. And we are all honored to know you. I know my pops seeing you grow up and me being a part of your legacy. Know that we carry this mantle. You got a whole crew of young men doing all great things across the country in the spirit of mind, body, and soul. So your love and affection and tough love is reverberated in us, and we are now disseminating that to all across the country. So you getting love from, of course, P. Keys, Tomas. We got some videos that we'll send you out. We were going to surprise you with some thoughts. We got some shout out for some MBS kids who wanted to show you some love. So I'll send
really?
All right. We got love.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I appreciate the love. I really do, bro. It's a trip. It really is.
Well deserved.
All right. Check us out each week on Real Deal Sports Show. Always, BacSpin. I know you're coming in. Hey, I know you're gonna during your show you're gonna let the community know of that Diddy situation and what does that mean to the music industry? Does it affect it at all or what? I know you're gonna let people know.
I mean, I think he's gonna get time. He probably get, I don't know, maybe 5 years. I think they looking at. I think they got to give him something just because of the egregious video that came out with him beating up on Cassie. But hey, he didn't get the RICO charge, so that was the biggest charge that he was facing. And I think it's a win for the defense. You know, as far as the verdict is concerned.
It is.
Definitely is.
Yeah, it is.
Most people saying just 2 to 3. which is crazy with all what they were trying to hit him with.
They just want to take Diddy's money, boy. That's what they do.
Well, they did that.
Gonna get a black man on some sexual exploitation, you know, some type of sexual something.
They did that. So hey, we gonna see when the sentencing is handed down exactly how much time he's facing, if he's facing any. They might just give him time served for the time that he's been in jail already. So I don't know. We'll see, but I think it's a victory for the defense, and I think you know, he's happy with the verdict. You know, it could have been a lot worse.
Because it's hard to get a RICO charge all by yourself. I never seen that ever happen before. That's like, what, RICO? Man, it got to be other people involved in this, and it obviously clearly wasn't. So
yeah, so
that law system in America.
No doubt. We'll see. But we running up against the fellas. We got to get up out of here, pay these bills, and get to it. So y'all have a great weekend. Enjoy this weather that we're gonna have for the 4th of July weekend.
Happy 5th of July, everybody. And be a good sport.
I appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you, Prof.
Fellas.
Thank you, RD. Thanks for coming on.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Even when you need a Rock City coming up, it's the Bag of Time Mix Show right here on the beat.